What is up, YouTube community? Mr. Smiley here today, and for this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to stream inside of VR chat. Okay, because I've had a few people ask, how do you stream inside of VR chat? Is it hard? How do you do it? So I'm actually going to show you guys the experience that I do, what I see when I'm streaming inside VR chat, and how to get it set up for you guys for success so that you can do your own VR chat streams with a VR headset. It only works with a VR headset. You can technically do videos and streams on desktop mode, but you don't get the full, VR experience, so to speak. But if you are just now hopping into VR chat and you're like, I want to do videos or I want to stream, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys step by step in detail on how to do it. Okay, so if I miss anything, let me know in the comment section below, or if there's something that you want me to cover in a future video. All right, and you guys know what to do. Like and subscribe if you guys are new here. I would love to hear your feedback on if this video was helpful or not. Okay, so we're gonna start from scratch over on OBS. All right, so I'm gonna meet you guys over there. We're gonna build that all the way up till you get it to here, and to get you guys ready to stream on VR chat. And here we are, guys, inside of OBS. I've actually just started a new base canvas here for anyone that is wanting to learn how to stream inside of VR chat. Okay, so when you open up OBS, we're gonna have a couple different things here. You're gonna have just your base canvas, your scene, your sources, your audio mixer, your controls, your basic stuff here. Okay, so for the most part, to actually pull up VR chat, you have to come over here to, you can have it on any scene. It doesn't matter which scene you have it. You want to come over here to the sources at the bottom left where it says add source. This little plus button right here. We're going to hit add. And then to pull up VR chat, you want to make sure it's game capture. Okay, so make sure you pull it. Just like any game that you would want to pull up. You can name it anything. For instance, we can say VR chat. Okay, so now we have VR chat. And now it's like, oh no, where's VR chat? I don't know where it is. We have to specify that we want just VR chat to open, okay? So it says, in this one, you can capture any full screen application, but we want to be specific, okay? So we want to come over here, hit the drop down menu under mode, and we want to say capture specific window, okay? So when we click that, now it's going to prompt you with which window do you want to capture. We're going to hit this guy, and we're going to come down to where you see vrchat.exe and VR chat. So you click that, and there we go. You can see it right there. Now, it may not show that you have VR chat open, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to actually pull up the viewpoint, so that way you can see my view and how to get all that stuff going there, so that way you can pull up VR chat. And there we go. So now you guys can see. I can even make this, I can right-click this. I can come to the transform. You can even stretch to screen if you need to fit to screen. But now we can come back and then we'll make this full screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And I'm gonna go ahead and just take down the camera here so I can show you guys. You can see what I'm seeing, right? So here we go. We're gonna actually show you guys how to capture VR chat, because right now if we went to VR chat, it may not capture anything other than like the camera, right? You may just capture your hands or whatever. So we want to make sure that we're picking up the camera. So by pulling up your camera on VR chat, you want to pull up your menu, right? So we have this menus section here, and it's going to bring up the launch pad, okay? At the bottom of the launch pad, you will have this little camera option, okay? So you want to make sure you click the camera option. Now it's going to have a couple different options here. The most important one is stream camera. I'm glad that they actually said instead of video camera, it's stream. You want to make sure you're doing the stream one, okay? So if you want to take pictures, obviously you have the photo camera. It's literally the same thing, but this one is built in to turn into your actual webcam. So we're going to hit stream camera, and then that's why I have this little camera device here, okay? So it's actually showing you guys, I'm doing it this way because it's going to picture this, and I want you guys to be able to see the stream camera when I have it, okay? So that's why I pulled up the VR view so you guys can see my point of view, okay? So now we have the stream camera. All right, so now when you have this open, it's going to actually automatically pull it up when you bring up the game capture, okay? So this is what I see all the time. When I'm talking to you guys, this is the camera that I see. All right, you see all these little options here on the bottom that you can pick and choose from. You can actually go and scroll a couple different things here, okay? So we can even take a photo. You can even do a 5-second photo. You can even switch the camera mode right here as well. We can switch it if you're on camera mode. You know, like regular camera, you can make sure you can hit the camera mode and make sure it's on stream camera. Okay, and you can even make it fly. So if I turn it into fly mode and I try to move around, I can move my camera around the scene, which is kind of cool, right? Some people probably don't want that. It's all good. If you want to reset that, make sure you hit this right here where it says anchor. You can hit the reset, and it resets it back to the original spot here. And anchor is simply, right now it's default. It's going to follow me. If I move around, the camera's going to automatically follow me. If I want it to stay local, you know, it's kind of like the same thing, okay? So when I move it around, like if I move the camera, you can see I'm moving my base camera, but my camera is still staying in the same spot. So if I want this to be like in a different spot, but I want to be looking at you guys, you can do that as well. But I prefer to have it on default, so that way wherever I look at myself, I'm looking directly at the camera, okay? More of a preference thing, okay? So now, what is world camera? So world camera, when I hit that and I move, now the camera's gonna stay put, okay? And then that way I can still have the camera, I'll call this the canvas essentially, so I can see what, you know, you guys will see, but the camera will stay put inside of the world. And again, at any point you can hit this little like reset button under anchor, and it will reset it back to its original spot. Now you're probably wondering, oh wow, how is the camera following you? That is actually over here in behavior, okay? You can see where it says look at me. When you have that on, it's gonna follow you no matter what, which is really, really helpful too. So that way I like to have those little cool moments where I'm like getting the camera and like, hey, what's up, you know? So I move around a lot, okay? So that's the look at me. If you want to do that, it's actually turned the other way. But now when I move, I'm actually stationary. The camera's stationary. It's only going to focus one area just like a regular camera. If you prefer that method, you can do that as well. Okay, what are these other options? What is smooth? Smooth kind of makes it to where when you're walking around, they actually fixed this. It was a bug earlier or before. Essentially, when you move the camera, it's a little bit more smooth. It's not as choppy, you know? So it was before when you would walk, your character would be faster than the camera, but they actually fixed that, which is actually really, really good. So smooth just makes things a little bit smoother. I prefer that as well. Auto level. What is auto level? Auto level means the camera will never look up or down. So no matter how much I try to make the camera look down, it's only gonna look straight. All right, it's gonna look just straight off into the void. It's locked. Okay. So if I look down, you can even turn it sideways. Also, this is a fun fact. You can do this for TikToks. Okay, like if you're doing a phone mode, you can turn the camera literally sideways, and it's literally 90 degrees. You don't have to worry about it. Oh my goodness, is it leveled? You know, so you can actually turn it sideways if you want to do phone like TikToks. Fun fact. But yes, it basically makes it to where it won't look up or down. It's just locked on the horizon there. That's auto level. Sometimes I do like to make it where it looks like I'm looking up or down, depending on if there's something above me or something below me. I prefer to keep it off, depending on the situation, I guess. Now, trigger to take photos. What does that mean? We're going to hit that, and then if I hit the trigger... Wait, I have to hold this. I hit the thing. Oh, it did a little thing there. So I hold the trigger as I'm doing it, and it will take a photo. So that's kind of what that means. Pretty kind of like self-explanatory. Now, the focus mode. I personally like the focus mode. It kind of... If you know a lot about photography, you will kind of know a little bit more about this. You don't really necessarily have to know a lot about focus. Essentially, you could do full auto, and basically wherever you click on the screen, it will kind of like focus. I mean, there's other like stuff if you want it to like focus on certain things. Semi-auto kind of just takes the aperture. Less aperture means more blurry. So if you want it to like focus on you and have like a blurry background, you can do that. But if you kind of come out of that focus, you're gonna also be unfocused. Okay, so that's kind of like a quick way to like kind of blur the background, is kind of do semi-auto and have less aperture. Okay, more aperture means that it's gonna be kind of more smoothed out. My little ears go down as I move. So, you know, you can always reset this as well, you know, to like the default in the middle there. But yeah, if you want to have those cool blurry things, you want to make sure you have like a little less aperture. Not like too much. You don't want to have too much of a blurriness, depending on, I mean, it's really just up to you. But you want to kind of like, if you're focused on one thing, in fact, this kind of comes back to where the look at me comes in handy. And, you know, you can kind of make it where you're kind of in the thing. I do this for my video the other day, you know, so I'm like, I'm here. I'm moving around and the background is just a little bit blurred, just for purposes of, you know, you want it to like focus on you kind of thing. So that's kind of what the focus is there. And then of course, manual, you can actually change. See, look at this. You can make the background not blurry, but you can make people up close blurry. So it's really just the focal distance. So you want the aperture to be low to get the blurriness, and then you kind of just focus in if you want to bring it close. And now you manually take out the background and keep anything up close less blurry, if that makes sense. So the focal distance means how further away or close it is. So closer to 0 means closer to the camera, further away means further away, and then the aperture is how much. Like less aperture means more blurry, essentially. So you can do all that stuff. And if it's like something kind of whacked up, you're like, oh no, you can just hit the reset and it kind of sets it back to like a pretty comfortable thing. And you can play around from there. And you can turn it off right there. So that's the focus. Now we're going to go to pins. The pins, you see there are 3 different pins going on here, okay? So the pins essentially mean 3 different types of cameras you can have. Like right now, if I go to pin 2, it's going to be like the default camera. Same thing with pin 3. Literally the exact same thing as if you just open up the camera. The zoom in, I almost forgot to talk about this. The zoom in and zoom out is over here on the side. You can set the default back over here to like resetting the zoom. So if you want to zoom all the way out, it gives it more of a wide lens. Okay, so say like you want camera 2 to be wide and you want camera 1 to be, you know, really close. Hi, how are you doing? You know, and then camera 3 to be like maybe, let's say we want it to be off in the world somewhere, right? So we want it to be, actually let's do flying. So we can take this and like make it fly off in the distance somewhere, maybe, I don't know, something like that, maybe. And then we can say that is pin 3. We want to make sure we turn off flying because it'll move the camera if so. And then we say like we come back to pin 2, now it's back to this, pin 1, hi, and then pin 3 is the one over here. So it's really just like if you're doing like podcasts and stuff, right? Or just really just like you're just sitting around with friends and you want to have different angles. You have up to 3 different camera angles that you can do. And you can have your own personal one. So like usually I'll have one to set and be like, oh, this is my chill and chat camera. When I'm chatting with you guys, I usually have a designated camera for that. And then I'll come over here and I'll say pin 2. It's not going to be looking at me, but when I have friends and stuff in the scene, then I can have them with me, and that's pin 2, okay? So it really just kind of is a preference thing with the pins, but just simply know that it's 3 different cameras. You can see the logos there as well. Now, here's another fun one here, the mask, okay? So a lot of people probably wonder how I do the Blender videos and make it to where my character is inside of it without showing the background. It's kind of cool because there's a designated green screen button. Now, I don't know if this is gonna like kind of be wild, but if I turn on green screen, it should show like a green screen. Yeah, you can kind of see. It turns this into a green screen. Now, I'm gonna turn that off because it can be really bright sometimes. I will make a designated video if you guys want me to talk about how to do green screening, okay? I'll even do a short on it because it's actually kind of short to talk about, but it's kind of like its own thing because you have to go inside of OBS and you have to do the chroma key and all that stuff. Let me know in the comments. If you guys want to see that, I would love to know. I will cover that in a future video, okay? And it's simply UI just means like, you know, you won't see like the, or you will see the UI. So if I open up this thing, you will see that on the camera. Okay, so that's essentially what UI means. You'll see people's nameplates and all that. So if you don't want to see that, you keep that off. Environment, simply, you know, it takes away the environment. And yes, you can technically make this be like a transparent image. You can use green screen or you can use this being like a transparent image. It kind of has the, you see the checkerboard? That is alpha. So it takes away the alpha and you can make like cool pictures where you can crop you and, you know, put you inside of cool pictures and stuff. So there's different stuff here. You know, if you want remote user or local user, you can actually hide you or you can hide other people in the world. Okay, so that's kind of what that's all about. So if you want it to be just you in chat, you know, if someone's got some crazy avatar and you're like, oh no, I don't want to show that, you can hit remote and it'll take away the people. I mean, obviously you can just click on them and hide them too, but that's kind of like a quick thing inside of mask there. And you can just hide yourself and be like, boo, you know, for Halloween if you want to do that too. So another thing here, the lens visibility. Now I have mine set to ghost. You can actually make it into solid. So if I hit solid and let's say I come over here to anchor and now turn it into world, now I will see the camera as its full thing. I usually keep it on ghost. It's really a preference thing if you want to see the camera. The blue dot means which way is up. So if I turn the camera, you can see it's like sideways now, but you see the dot is kind of like sideways, so you can tell that the camera, it just kind of shows like, you know, if you want it to be like however which way. But I personally like to have it as the camera that I see because I like to look at you guys and know, and I'm physically seeing what you guys see. So it's really just a preference thing if you want the lens visibility or just off entirely. I like to have a ghost so I can kind of see it in the world, if anything, if I have it set somewhere. Filters, these can get kind of cool too. I don't really mess with them. It's really just a preference thing. Yes, you can have different filters. Flash warning, by the way, there's some stuff that's pretty crazy. These are built-in filters that, yes, you can do inside of VRChat. Some of them are kind of cool. You know, like Sketch, you can make that into a thing. Sparkle, it'd be cool for like pictures and stuff like that too. So, you know, really kind of, ooh, trippy, you know. You could go into a lot of this stuff with that, you know, like old-timey videos if you want special effects, all built into VRChat, which is really cool. I usually don't mess with them, but it's up to you guys if you do, but that's what the filters are. Photo resolution, this is all of the different resolutions. It even goes up to 8K, which is insane. So if you hit like 8K, it says, you know, taking high resolution photos may cause frame lag. So keep in mind of that as well. And yeah, you can actually configure your own kind of thing. I just keep it to 4K. I'm just like, I have it on there. You can keep it HD, whatever. You can change the resolution, all that good stuff right there. Now, the lock means you can't pick up the thing. See how I'm trying to pick it up and it won't do it? Because, you know, sometimes you may accidentally pick up the camera. That's what lock does. And, of course, grid for those photo people. You got your grid. You have your, you know, rule of thirds. You know, if you want to try to take a cool picture and be like, you know, like say like I want the background to be, you know, the thing. So you kind of, this is photography stuff. You have somebody on one line and you have the other focus point on the other line there, and it's like, oh, hey, look at this cool background. You know, you got your grid system for those photo takers. And yes, it's all built into VRChat. All pretty cool stuff. So now that's the camera. I know I went into the camera system there because it is a big part of streaming inside of VRChat. So I'm actually going to go ahead and cover how do I bring up my windows? Like, how do I actually see the stuff when I'm in the headset? I can't just constantly like take off my headset and be like, oh man, what's going on out there, you know? So let me show you guys how I bring up my windows. So obviously we have our game capture. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull up other windows here. So you can see how I have this little system here. I use Steam VR, okay? Sometimes it glitches on me here and it does this aggravating thing here. So on the bottom here, you know, you got your dates, your times, all your fun stuff down here by hitting the home button. So I got the Vive headset controllers. See, pretty cool, pretty high definition, I guess. So my home button, you know, is this guy. So you may use Quest too, whatever your home button is to access your Steam VR. You want to come to this screen here, and then you got a couple different options here. We have like the desktop, which just shows my computer desktop. If I move my mouse, you can see it moving right here, and I can keep this open and have different things. You know, we got our VRChat. I have a bunch of windows open. I know there's a lot happening right now, and it's not doing the full screen, which it should be. So here we go. Now we have like OBS, right? So let's say I want to have OBS inside of my world, but I also want other stuff too. So for instance, you see this little button right here where it says add desktop window. You can hit this guy, and then now that's where some people will hear the sounds of the whoosh. It's the thing or whatever. You probably won't be hearing it because I have music playing and stuff, so I'm going to be replacing this with other music. So all of these are windows that are currently open on my PC. I know there's a bunch of them. So for instance, if I want OBS, right? We have Streamlabs, and this is just regular OBS. This is what I'm going to be streaming on. I click that guy. Now it is a full screen of OBS. Yes, this is still my desktop. You can see my mouse. It's pretty cool, right? I can literally build inside of, you know, or do whatever with the headset on. It's crazy. I can look around, see all the cool stuff. So now, look at that. It's kind of like, you know, you can see it off in the distance there. Sorry, ADHD. Let's now take this and put it inside of the world. This is the fun part, okay? So depending on which one you want to click, you can hit the controller. You can move around. Yes, I can move my mouse around the screen too when I'm on desktop mode. I can lock these to my controllers, which is really cool. But I want it to be this option right here, float in world. So I hit that guy. Now, when I close the Steam VR, now it's floating in my world. Well, that's kind of cool. So if I hit it again to pull up the options here, if I wanted to go back home, I can now move, like where it says right here, this little crosshair, I can move this. Look at that. And you can size it down or big. You can make it massive if you really want to. But I usually kind of keep it like this. I keep it up, I put it up here, so I can do that. And then now, see, I have you guys, I'm looking at you guys, and you may see me constantly looking up. I have my whole monitor up here, but not only that, it's not just my monitor, it's a window. So that means I can add more, which is super cool. So I go back to the SteamVR thing here, and I go back to add desktop window. Let's say, for instance, I want my Audacity, right? My audio that I'm capturing right now currently. I can pull that guy up. Wow, that's bright. Floating world, right? We can make this guy a little bit smaller. That's me currently talking. Pretty cool. I can move him, let's say, over here. Again, this is for streaming, so if you are on YouTube, it does pull up certain things. Let's go back to the desktop, right? So let's say we're on the desktop here. Let me come over here to my YouTube, right? So, you know, I have this lovely lo-fi dude, you know, whatever. Kind of cool guy, right? You know, I like him. So I want to come over here and let me go to like my thing. We're doing a poll right now. Cool, right? You know, we're seeing what game we want to do for the thing. Let's say I want to come to like my channel, right? Coolness, bet, awesomeness. Let's say I want to go live. I'm not actually going to go live just yet, but I'm going to show you guys. Go live, right? And I'll do a whole thing on this too. I did a whole video on how to like manage and go live and stuff like that. You know, I can schedule stream, whatever. I can pull up the stream tab. I'm not actually going live, but I'm showing you we have like a chat right here, right? So if you see right here the chat and say like I want to pop out the chat, now it's its own designated window. Now, why did I do all that? Why is that important? Now, check this out. I hit desktop view. There it is right there. I click that guy. Normally, chat will be happening right here. Now, watch this. Shebang. It's on my hand. Now, you guys are literally stuck on my hand. Is that crazy? This is what I see all the time when you guys are talking. I either have it as this or I have it as a designated window like these guys. And I have it floating in the world so that way I can show, be like, oh, hey, you know, I can just look up and see the chat. Same thing with Twitch, right? Let's say like I want to come over here. Let me pull up the desktop again so you guys can see kind of like what I'm doing. So go back to desktop and you can see right here. So let's say I come over to Twitch. All right, we're going to go over to the legendary Twitch here. Okay. And then from here, I want to go to like my channel. Okay. I'm going to make sure I'm not showing off anything crazy or anything like that. Let's just go to the video producer, the stream manager, all that good stuff. So this is like showing like, oh, hey, this is my stream for Twitch, right? Let's pop out the chat there, right? Pretty cool. There it is there. Now watch this. Just like the other one, we got our Twitch one right there. And I can put that guy, shebang, on there. And the cool thing is I can make these guys bigger or smaller. Oh, I don't want it that big. Holy crap, I have the gods of the chat on my hands. But yes, you can size them. You can make them how big and how small. There you go. This is typically what it looks like when I'm streaming in VR chat. I'm not joking. I literally have... Now, I don't normally have this because I'm doing, like, recording right now. But normally, this would be, like, my analytics to show, like, you know, on when I'm streaming on YouTube, for instance. I can see my analytics there. I can see OBS to show... So I can make sure I can peek up and be like, oh, can you guys see okay? Is it on the right camera? Even though I see this, I want to make sure that the canvas is good for you guys. So... And I also have chat. Isn't that cool? So any kind of like thing that you can make as a window on your OBS or whatever, or even just on your desktop, you can have it right here accessible inside of the VR. Okay, so that's kind of how I would do that. And then I would just simply go live. I have the chats. You can always go back and rewind at any point to show kind of like how I do all this. And of course, you know, I want to make sure you guys know how to actually do like the stuff here. So if we actually go back, let's say we're going to come back to the OBS, right? So let's go back to OBS. We're out of the full screen view now. You can still see it on the thing there. But let's say I want to hide this and come back to this. Obviously, there is our camera there. Now, another thing is too, I didn't forget the audio. I did cover this in another video, but I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys exactly. I'm gonna actually have my desktop window open, even though I'm on the thing here and you guys can see. I want to make sure I can see it. So here we are here, you know, we're talking, we're like, hey, yo, but there's no audio, right? So another quick fix for that is you want to make sure, whatever scene you want to do, if it's starting soon, if it's the VR scene, you want to come up here to add, okay? Now, on this one, remember, on the other video, it is audio input with the microphone. This means that whatever mic is going into your computer, you want to make sure it's that. And anything coming out of your speakers is output, okay? So we want to get our mic, so it's input. And you can name it whatever. You can name it mic, whatever you decide that you choose to make. And then by default, it's going to be default. I know that's crazy. But again, we want to make sure that we hit the down arrow, and we want to, we can even pick our HTC Vive mic. I'm going to tell you guys, it's not the greatest, okay? It's not the greatest. So we're not going to select that one. Vive, I love you guys, but your mics, we got to do something about it, guys. The Focusrite, though. The Focusrite, that's the one that I'm using right now. So I want to make sure I go to my computer and I figure out what is the mic that I'm using. If it's a Yeti, if it's whatever mic you're using, USB mic, whatever, you want to make sure it's that. You pick it up, and then shabang, look at that. You got your cool little mic happening here. So it's kind of cool, you can obviously, it's by default, it's going to have it all the way up here. I kind of want to do it where I test. I want to get it about right there. That's the sweet spot right there, when it goes from green to yellow. That's the sweet spot, so kind of play around with that you like. And then obviously we want the desktop audio, which is going to be our speakers. So we're going to select that, and we want to say desktop. And if you wanted to, watch this. Let me do this here. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the default. This is going to be what my computers are, which is going to be also the Focusrite. So this is like my desktop, right? So right now, I'm currently playing music. I don't know if it's copyright or not, so I'm just going to keep it kind of chilling. My lo-fi dude. But I can obviously make that a little bit quieter than usually what I'm talking. I want it to be a little bit less, where I hear it a little bit louder, but I want me to be more pronounced. So I have my desktop, right? You have your music, whatever. If you want this to be your music, that is totally fine as well. Okay, so now you kind of get a familiarization on kind of how to get your desktop happening, your music, your mic, all that good stuff. We talked about the overlays in the other video. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the video is going to be up there in the top right. You can go check that out right now on how to actually start streaming in general. And I cover all the basic stuff right there with overlays, all that good stuff. But now that you kind of see that, you can have your own VR chat stream, right? So you can pull up all the stuff as far as chats. You can pull up and you kind of see how to actually configure the video, the camera here. You actually see how to actually get all of the windows happening, how to get the audio, how to get all that good stuff. Now, if I miss something, if there's something specific that you want me to cover, let me know, please, because I wouldn't be able to know to help you guys, okay? And I guess one other fun point that I want to add is maybe you want to do the camera here for streaming, but maybe you don't want the actual camera. If you actually if I go back to OBS here, and if I take off the camera, I'm completely out of the camera, right? Now by default on the OBS here, it is gonna show my POV, but you're not gonna see the screens, right? Because now I have it set up to be where, whenever the camera is enabled, it's going to pull up VR chat, your point of view or the camera. So this is how I do some stuff. If I want to do POV inside of the game and not show the windows, I'm going to make sure that it's on game capture, okay? Not VR view, what I see. Because VR view shows my stuff that I see, but I want you guys to focus on whatever's happening in the game. So then, again, you pull up the camera here, make sure that it is on stream camera, and then now we are back. So that is how, if you end up losing the camera or something like that. I guess another fun thing that I want to add is if I take this out here, you see how I have my little camera down here. So maybe I want to do a POV, but I want to have me down here in the bottom right so you guys can see me kind of in a way. To do that, that is all in VR chat. If you click and hold, so you have your launch pad, right? That's how you press the button to go to the launch pad. Usually it's the select button. I have a Vive, depending on what it is for Quest users. When you pull up your launch pad, you click and hold it. You got the options menu, and obviously I have chat on my hand, so I have to tilt it a bit so I can see what I'm going to. But if I go to expressions, or actually not expressions, options, we have the personal mirror. So yes, you can actually add your own personal mirrors in here. So we have the default regular mirror, so you can actually have this in. And if you have your camera on, chat won't see it. Well, I guess if you tilt it over, but you can have it so you can see yourself. You can have that, or if you want, you can have the personal mirror, which is face mirror. So that is this guy right here. So if we want it off, we could turn it off and it's gone, and then we turn it on. Again, this is face mirror. There's a couple of different things. You can even change the position. I tried to get it in the very bottom right, but you can move it around. I want it to be kind of like on the corner there. It bugs me that it's kind of just chilling. But I mean, it's fine. It moves around. It's all good. You can change the size. You can change the opacity, all that good stuff. But that's a fun fact there. Some of the options you can do. And of course, you know, we have the, if we go back to actual expressions and then the quick actions, you can change the avatar height and stuff like that. You know, that's another thing that you can do inside of VRChat now that they added. You can change how big and small you are. Pretty cool stuff. That's how you do all that. If you see me doing that in stream and you're wondering like, how do I do that? That is kind of so much the kind of basics, I guess. Getting used to VRChat and getting used to actually streaming inside of VRChat. So hopefully this kind of helped out a little bit on how to actually get started streaming inside of VRChat. Again, let me know if there's anything that I missed. And maybe you've learned something here today. Let me know if you did. Let me know if anyone there is actually going to start streaming inside of VRChat. I would love to see you guys streaming in VRChat. I would love to come to your streams and actually see how you're doing on it. So let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love you guys to bunches. My name is Mr. Smiley. Let me know for some other videos that you want to see and cover in the future videos. And we'll see you guys in those videos over there. Go check out that one up there in the top right. It's going to be super cool. It's over that way, actually. And we'll see y'all in the next one. We'll see ya. Bye.